we already knew, more or less.
Well, here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
All right. I believe we are now live on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back, guys. fantaCTE, where comedians talk about fantasy football. We do now have, Lonnie, I don't know if you watched the last one, but we now have the capability where I can see if somebody sends us a message who is watching live on YouTube. So if you are watching live, if you want to have a question, if you have anything you want us to talk about, if you just want to make fun of us, whatever it is, feel free to write something in that little box. I'll see it pop up and then we will talk about it probably. Once again, my name is Nick Masick. I'm your host. Your other co-hosts, upper left-hand corner, if you're watching, we've got Lonnie Cox. Welcome back to the program. Lonnie's been MIA for a couple weeks handling business.
Yeah, glad to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, man.
Yeah.
And on the bottom, we have Vital the Juice.
What's up, guys?
All right. So, man, another week in the books. What do you guys want to talk about first? We started texting about some stuff the other day. I was like, oh, we got to talk about this shit.
Oh, yeah, we're talking shit.
So, should we start with, let's start with before the games. Let's start with Le'Veon Bell trade. Or it wasn't even a trade.
You just picked him up
right.
for free for the minimum.
Apparently they tried to trade him, but nobody would take him, so they just cut him, and then Chiefs picked him up.
Does he have a ridiculous contract?
Yeah.
But aren't the Jets still on the hook for part of it because they cut him? Is that good? Wasn't there guaranteed money? How does that work exactly?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that is exactly how it works. That they that's how much they want to get rid of him.
And the Chiefs scooped him up. So he went through. So nobody actually picked up his contract, right? Because he cleared waivers. Is that? I believe that's what happened. Is that correct?
I think so.
So if you cut somebody, then every team has a chance to sign them on waivers, which I believe means you take over their contract.
Yeah.
So if somebody claimed him off waivers, then the Jets would no longer be liable for that. But nobody did because his contract's fucking huge. He's playing like shit. So what do you guys think the effect has on the Chiefs? Who wants to go first? Tell me what do you see happening with Bell and the Chiefs?
I think it's just another weapon for the Chiefs, man. It can't hurt. I really don't think they have such a good system there. I don't think the addition of Le'Veon Bell can hurt them. It only gives them another option. And I think people really forgot how good Le'Veon Bell was when he was in the league. Like me and Lottie were talking about this. I feel like I was gushing over him. Like I want to see him do well again. So, and I think Kansas City is a great place for him.
I actually don't know if it's a great place for him. Sometimes what happens is teams will get these running backs that they don't really know how to use, and their offense, they'll kind of like, well, we've got this big guy here, so let's run the ball more. And I hope that Kansas City doesn't do that. They probably won't. They don't need to. But I just remember some teams like the Colts when they got the Trent Richardson trade. They really like changed their whole offense for a couple of games, and it really messed up the flow of their rhythm. Obviously, it's a much different system, but Le'Veon Bell did very, very well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers were built a little bit differently than the Chiefs are now. A big, heavy, bruising offensive line. I don't know if the Chiefs are necessarily built that way. But definitely, I think what we're going to see is, they had LaShawn McCoy. He didn't really do much for them when he was there. So I don't know if Kansas City is necessarily a place for a real big name running back to thrive. I know Clyde Edwards-Helaire, his value definitely dropped. But let's see. I mean, maybe Le'Veon Bell won't get that many touches.
Well, you make a good, valid point about teams trying to change their offense to fit like a big name running back. But if there's one thing I know about Andy Reid, it's that he doesn't really care about running the football at all.
Right.
He wants to throw it as much as possible. But that may be why it's such a good fit for Bell, because he's also a great receiver. That's one reason I can see him fitting in. He's a versatile back, and Andy Reid loves versatile backs. He's always used them well. You make a good point about LaShawn McCoy, but he's been declining. I don't think Bell maybe he is declining. I don't know. He is a little bit older. It's been a few years since
he's like 28. That's not old.
Is he?
Right?
28? Is that it? Okay. Well,
that's like 43 in NFL running back.
Oh, no, come on. Not for a running back who took 2 seasons off practically.
That's true.
Yeah, he shouldn't have, right. He should have less or more tread on the tires because he's rested. And we've seen what that can do for running backs taking a year off, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. So yes, but as to your point, Lonnie, as far as his fantasy value, I think you're right. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire stock goes down just because he's like, if you're not splitting time between Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell, why'd you even get Bell? You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's going to be at least a timeshare backfield now. And they both might be productive, but
for sure. I mean, do you guys remember the Ron Dane, Tiki Barber experiment, the Thunder and Lightning?
Yeah.
Like that always was a very good, to me, I love running back stables that you have this big bruising running back and then you've got the small scat back. I always think that those teams do end up doing very well. It was like you had Marion Barber and Felix Jones for the Cowboys did that. It works out very well when you've got a big guy that can come in and get the, in the short yardage situations and the goal line, get you 3 or 4 yards up the middle. And then you have a quick pass catching running back or, a quick guy that can do the tosses and the screens and all that stuff. So it's definitely going to change the way that the defenses play the Chiefs. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting development.
Yeah, it is. Have you guys heard anything about when he's actually going to play? He's not playing tonight, I don't believe.
I don't think he's playing tonight.
No.
Usually I think it takes them about a week or two. They're going to get some, they want to give him a little bit of the playbook to get started. But
yeah, it's like a practice a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I would say probably next week he might get about 8 to 10 touches. I would say.
That's what I was thinking too. You make a good point there, but I also don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell have a very different style, even though their size is different. They have a different running style, but they're both pass catching backs. They're both good inside. They're both shifty and maneuver. Like Bell's not that. He's not a bruiser. He's a big guy, but he's not a You don't think of him as a bruiser. He dances around. He makes people miss.
I guess you're right, Nick. The bruising running back isn't really a thing anymore, is it? You've got Derrick Henry. Marshawn Lynch is out of the league. There's not really that many running backs like that anymore. But I guess the new style of a bruising running back, what I would consider that is these guys that are, they're very, very patient. They let the play develop in front of them. They don't just like slam into the offensive line. That I guess, the Ezekiel Elliott's, the Dalvin Cooks, those guys, they're the guys that you would want in the short yardage situations where you've got a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire who will beat you on the outside. I don't know if Le'Veon Bell is really beating too many guys to the corner.
Yeah, he might still be able to, but you're right. He's an excellent interior runner. He's super patient. Edwards-Helaire I think he's explosive, and he can break through the middle or break you to the outside. He maybe has more speed, and he's a strong, even though he's small, he seems like he's a thick, pretty powerful small guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think, isn't he like 5'8", 205 or something like that? It's like, dude, that is so hard to tackle.
Yeah. I've been saying he's Ray Rice 2.0,
Yeah.
That's what he looks like. It's what
There's a ball running down there.
He's just
a little meatball.
It's coming at you, dude.
Yeah. Bouncing off guys. So I think we all agree that everybody on the Jets still sucks, even though Le'Veon Bell left. Nobody wants anybody on the Jets. Fuck.
I mean, dude, if you get, I have Jamison Crowder. He didn't do great yesterday, but I think he's averaging 117 yards a game. He's number 1 in the NFL with yardage. But
okay,
that's what happens when you're down.
That's a benefit
points.
of a trash team. It has to funnel through like the best player you have.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean,
and they're also always throwing the ball. They're down by 30 points,
every game.
Which is what, now I'm dealing with the last 2 weeks. I've got Lamar, and they're so good that he's not throwing the ball. Like he's got 89 passing yards and 2 touchdowns every game, but they're winning by 30 points. It's like
I have the
Pissing
same
me
thing
off.
with the receiver they have, the Brown, because he's
Marquise.
an over the top like big TD catcher, and they're not going for big plays when they're
No.
up by 30. So like he gets no use. I'm like, I
Right.
got Hollywood just sitting there. Like,
And he's a guy that a lot of people thought were going to take a step forward. And he may have taken a step forward in terms of his knowledge of the offense, his ability to run routes, but his usage is just way down because partially also their defense is really good. Like
they're eating people, dude. They don't need to work that hard. Like,
right. You just don't have to throw it. You have to take as many chances down the field with guys like that.
Who can you guys remind me who's their new running back? I know he's pretty good, right?
J.K. Dobbins is their rookie. Yeah. He's good.
their tight ends are really good too, right?
Yeah.
Mark Andrews.
And
even like their backup tight end's been really good. They're going through. They're using a lot. They're using Mark Andrews a lot.
A lot of
And
weapons.
they're using 3 running backs. They're doing. I mean, it's almost an equal split between. Like none of those guys are usable right now. Like J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, and then they're also using Gus Edwards. He's their big bruiser. He's like their change of pace, their closer. I think they've referred to him as because he's this big bruising back, and he's, you know, he can just pound it up the middle, and it's how they're finishing games.
It's funny to not think of Mark Ingram would be the bruiser on most teams, and then he's not even their main guy on this one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Mark Ingram would be the starting back on 90% of NFL teams. You know.
Yeah, he's getting up there too, though. I think he's 30 now, but he can still play.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, he's been in the league for a minute, man. Like
didn't he win the Super Bowl with the Saints?
Yeah, I think he did.
I think he was a rookie that year.
Okay.
He wasn't. He didn't do much his first couple of years with the Saints, though. He was. I mean,
I think he did. I think it was him and Reggie Bush. I thought they split time pretty evenly.
But it's hard. You get it close by Reggie Bush when he was in the league.
I remember for the first year or two, people were saying Mark Ingram was a bust because he
really
didn't. Yeah, he didn't really catch on in that offense for a couple years. I mean, he did pick it up eventually, but it was like his second or third year where you started to be like, "Oh, this is the first round draft pick that they were expecting."
Right.
You know. But yeah, no, he's been great. I've got him on my bench still. I'm not going to drop him just because. But I think unless one of those backs, and you hate to say it, but unless one of those backs gets hurt, I don't think you're going to play them in any situation in fantasy. They're just not that, because they're splitting so equally.
Yeah.
So it's just a roll of the dice. So let's talk about, we were talking about the different running back styles before the games yesterday. We were talking about it. And then Derrick Henry. Holy shit. You knew it was coming, right? Like you knew it was going to be one of these days, one of these games, and not a really big surprise that it happened against the Texans defense, but man,
making people look like little boys out there. That was gross, man. I was like, he's got a family.
Not anymore. He doesn't.
Do you guys remember when Derrick Henry came into the league? There was that picture of him with Eddie Lacy.
Was it Eddie Lacy?
Well, him and Eddie Lacy, they were like at a party or something, and Derrick Henry makes Eddie Lacy, who's huge, look like a small child.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy, and Derrick Henry was kind of quiet his first couple of years in the NFL. He was splitting with DeMarco Murray for a little bit, but he is just unbelievably good.
He's so good.
I know, so consistent too. Like it doesn't seem like there's anything they can do to stop him.
The Titans have really picked up their whole organization, though. Even that offensive line for Tannehill, dude. Now, I feel bad that he had to spend all those times on Miami's line all those years. Because look what he does with time.
I think Tannehill's a better player than he was when he first came to Miami, too, though. He learned a lot and grew a lot as a quarterback from.
Yeah, because he had to. Ball out in 3 seconds.
Right.
He had flashes, though. When he was here, he would definitely flash.
Sure. There were games.
Now he's doing 30+ points a game in fantasy.
He's killing right now in fantasy. Yeah, he's a guy. I almost picked him up. I was one of the guys who lost Dak Prescott. I traded Ronald Jones for. It was not a blockbuster trade, but I traded Ronald Jones for Ben Roethlisberger. Thinking Ben will be fine. Ben will be a guy I can play every week. Tannehill lit it up. Ben
I picked him up off waivers.
You did in our league? Fuck.
Didn't I? Was that our league?
Did you picked up Tannehill?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, 36 points, dude.
On your bench, right? Though you didn't.
No, I started him. I had Russell Wilson. It was
Oh, you had a bye week. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
nice.
I've got 2 great fucking QBs right now. Holler at me, bro.
That's looking pretty good. So let's talk a little bit fantasy wise, I'm done. Warren kicked the shit out of me.
Yeah, Warren had a great week this week.
Exploded this week. It was ridiculous. But you guys both still have, I think almost every other matchup is close. I think Vital, you're the only one who's clearly going to win this week, I think.
Don't say that. I've been up 70 points of going to a lot of Monday nights, man. Don't say that, please.
There's 2 more games you do.
I'm so scared right now.
I'm definitely going to lose tonight.
I think yours is close, man. Yours is pretty tight, isn't it, Lonnie?
Well, I've got 3 players left. I've got Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, and I've got Stephon Diggs. But Stephanie has Pat Mahomes and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I'm not expecting to win at all.
I mean,
I'm down by 1 point right now.
That's gonna be tight. That's gonna be a close one. There's so many fantasy players tonight in tonight's game. I feel like
that's really close.
Yeah, that one could go either way.
It depends on how Dallas does, because if they get Cooper involved, you'll do well. Because
here's the thing: is Andy Dalton? I'm thinking he's gonna lean on Cooper a little bit.
Yeah,
hopefully
good. All right, yeah. Him and
Michael
CD will get a
Gallup's
lot
playing really, really well, so I think he might get some of that coverage shifted his way. So we'll see.
All their receivers have been playing well. It's hard to which is great for Dallas, for Dalton, because I feel like he's got a bunch of guys he can trust and just pick the open guy, and they're all making plays. Everybody's getting open. Everybody makes catches. Andy Dalton couldn't have fallen in a better situation.
Oh, of course not. No, and he's back home.
Yeah, that's right. He's in Texas.
He's from Texas.
Hey, he went to TCU.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's good for him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what else we got to talk about from this past week. Henry destroyed everybody. Man, we were talking a little bit about Henry because we were texting about Henry before. Is this a style of running that could come back in the league? Now, granted, there aren't very many, like you said. There's Derrick Henry. There's Adrian Peterson on the tail end of his career, but he's still a pretty bruising back and can be imposing on defenses if he is, up to, like, if he's healthy or whatever. But you think about those Titans, the only team that stopped them last year was the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like, they ran over everyone. Teams, nobody expected them to beat New England. Nobody expected them to. New England wasn't that big of a shock because New England had a rough year last year. But nobody expected them to beat the Ravens. They kicked the shit out of the Ravens. And even against the Chiefs, it wasn't a blowout. It was a pretty competitive. So that's it.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, the Chiefs were down.
Yeah, they had come back. Wasn't that the 3 touchdown?
Yep. So those Titans, man, that style of running. I mean, you were saying, Lonnie, you were talking about defenses like having to load the box again against the Titans, and they're just not built for it. They don't have the personnel in a lot of cases to do that. And it might be interesting to see if the Titans go on another run, especially, I mean, they're still undefeated. If they go on another run in the playoffs this year, you might see teams start to change teams that face them a lot, start to change their defensive strategy because, if that division,
I think at that point, it's kind of like a pick your poison then, because if you load up to beat the Titans, then they're actually just giving the Chiefs another weapon, because now you take an extra corner help and all those safeties are because now you load up the box. It's kind of like, who you play for the champion, don't you? Like, whoever's winning the league, that's who you play to beat. Like,
I think you play to beat your division champion, though, and I think the Titans, until further notice, own that division. So I think,
not even close.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I think that Texans could have won that game. That's the other thing. Like, the Texans actually came back and had a chance to win. You could argue that they could have, and we'll talk about 2-point conversions in a minute here.
Did you guys see what Mike Vrabel did?
Which one?
So as the Texans were driving, Mike Vrabel took an intentional 12-man on the field penalty, which gave the Texans a first down, but he was able to keep all of his timeouts. So the Texans ended up scoring, but then the Titans were able to end up driving with 4 seconds left on the clock and a timeout left.
I
didn't realize
I love those smart plays.
Wow.
That's the Bill Belichick coaching tree.
That's the Bill Belichick tree right there. Like, holy, like who would have even
memorized that playbook, bro?
Yeah,
that's like I've never heard of that before. That's literally the first.
Right. That's that like next level coaching stuff,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he's a player's coach, man. I can see Mike Vrabel being one of the great NFL coaches by the end of his career.
Absolutely, and because he got a young start too. Like he got a pretty early start into coaching as well. So. I don't think he took even a year off. I think as soon as he retired, he was coaching the Texans. Coaching J.J. Watt, which is people don't really know, but that's why J.J. Watt has his career arc is because Mike Vrabel was his defensive line coach. Yeah. Well, I thought he was a linebackers coach first before a D coordinator, but maybe you're right. Maybe
he was the defensive line coach.
Line coach. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think he was a linebackers coach. I think he was or if he was a linebackers coach, he was defensive. He was like a defensive
coordinator or something like that.
And linebackers coach. But I remember for sure he was J.J. Watt's coach.
He had a big hand in that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're probably right. That partly because of his early start, how good of a coach he is. The team that he's built, which is a pretty young team right now, they're gonna win for a while. I think if he can keep them together. So,
sure. Yeah. One thing to look out for though with Derrick Henry is Taylor Lewan tore his ACL, so his season is done. So
okay. Well, his backup looked good though, even in passing downs too, which that's what they really need is a passing down back because he can catch the ball, but he's not but I forget the guy's name, but he did play well. Even on that last drive, they actually used him more on that last drive that you're talking about to get down and tie the game for overtime.
Well, who Taylor Lewan is an offensive lineman.
Oh, Taylor Lewan. Okay, I thought you were talking about Henry's backup. I forget his name, but
no. Taylor Lewan is their number one pick.
Okay, all right.
Long-standing. Yeah. I think he's a left tackle.
Right now, I remember his name. Did he get hurt early or late in the game?
I'm not sure. I think he might have actually finished the game. I don't think he was one of those guys.
He's going to be out long.
And then
it's an ACL, so his season's done.
Yeah.
That sucks. Okay, well that is going to change things a little bit for them, maybe. I mean, but
we're getting to that part of the season, my entire running back stable is decimated right now.
And yet you still wouldn't trade me for David Montgomery. What the fuck, dude?
Here's the thing: is I got an offer that was so much more for. But I didn't end up taking it either. I don't pull the trigger on trades. I don't know why. I'm very stingy.
That's crazy.
You were offered more than David Montgomery for Deshaun Watson.
So here's what happened is I got an offer to trade Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins for Nick Chubb, Greg Kittle, Mike Williams, and somebody else. But then I looked at it and I'm like, I don't need Greg Kittle is okay. That's a good trade. But Nick Chubb is hurt.
Yeah, that's not.
Mike Williams is mediocre, and DeAndre Hopkins is my best receiver right now. So
that's not getting more offered. I mean, you got more, but you had to give up DeAndre.
It was the Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb really gave me pause because I needed to.
But he's not even.
But he's done.
He's got 2 or 3 more weeks out, man.
Maybe after Lamar's bye week, and I can use Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson's been running it up lately.
You've been losing lately, though. So I
just lost one game. I lost one
to me. You might lose
by like 0.3. I didn't lose by much.
You're in jeopardy of losing 2 in a row. I'm just pointing that out. And
that is true.
My running back, who you turned down, I think scored 18 points this week. I'm pretty sure.
He did.
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson on your bench didn't
30
any points for your team.
For me, right.
You did the same thing last year. I'd like to remind you that you turned down Aaron Jones last year. And
I did turn down Aaron Jones last year. That was a bad move.
Trade.
But remember, Pat Mahomes got hurt, so I finished the season with Lamar.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you didn't know Pat was going to get hurt before that happened.
No.
I'm just.
It worked out, but you probably still would have been okay.
Up right now. He is ascending as far as his usage and his scoring. He's been one of the most consistent backs.
Aaron Jones?
No, David Montgomery, the guy I offered you to trade you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they need him. I have him in another league. Didn't his backup got hurt? That's what happened, right?
Yeah, well, Tariq Cohen, yeah.
Now it's just him.
Yeah, and he's a good pass catcher, and that's what Cohen did. So I don't know. You probably shouldn't have turned me down on that one. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Well, let's see how Ben Roethlisberger works out for you. Maybe you need some late in the season Deshaun Watson.
I got vultured. He had multiple touchdowns that were just like he threw 4 just to one guy the week before through 4 touchdowns.
Chase Claypool. I picked him up on waivers.
I know. So I figured he's good for. I think he'll be fine. I think he's gonna be fine. There was some weird plays. They did a couple end arounds because I got James Conner too. I was like, oh, I'm fine either way. And then like they ran a reverse to Claypool and fucking scored a touchdown. It was stupid. Benny Snell scored a touchdown. Whatever. I think Roethlisberger is gonna be fine to carry my team. I don't think he's gonna be that bad. Anyway, and I get McCaffrey back soon. Fingers crossed.
Oh, well, I got Tannehill if you want to trade.
I'll think about it, man. It's possible. I don't know.
I will take Montgomery. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, Tannehill's also. I say this, but maybe he is. I was gonna say he's not Deshaun Watson, but man, they look good too. He looks good too.
Think about it, man. It's on the table, Nick.
The thing is, I already traded one of my running backs away for Roethlisberger. So I don't have quite as much running back depth, and he balled that man. Ronald Jones is looking good. I'm almost regretting trading him away, but he was my lowest rated running back, I think, at the time. So let's talk about 2-point conversions. This is a big topic right now. The big debate, one of the debates about that Texans game was that the Texans went for 2 instead of kicking the extra point, and they didn't get it. And so if they had kicked the extra point when the Titans went back down, that drive you were talking about, Lonnie, the Titans would have had to have gone for 2 to tie it, to push overtime. That was one of those second guesses. Teams were like, well, analytics, this and that. More interesting, though, was the Riverboat Ron call. Did you see this one? 2 bad teams. Nobody really cares that much, but it was classic Riverboat Ron. Redskins went down, scored a touchdown at the end of the game against the Giants. If they kick a field goal, they tie the game. They go to overtime. They went for 2 and didn't get it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? We've seen it before. We've seen it go both ways. Do you like the 2-point conversion instead of the extra point to take it to overtime?
I mean, I like the 2-point conversion with Cam Newton. And, in 2015, I like it.
Yeah. That was a guaranteed one then.
Right.
Sure. You probably like it with Derrick Henry running the option.
Right.
Like that was, or they did a direct snap to Henry, I think, for, I don't know if it was actually for a 2-point conversion, but yeah, I think it's situational too. I like it, but yeah, Kyle Allen's your quarterback. You're going to put the ball in his hands for a 2-point conversion.
And they didn't need to do it though, right? Because if they had kicked a 1, then that just means
overtime.
With the team, they would have. Yeah, I wouldn't have forced it that hard. I don't know.
You wouldn't have done it too. You wouldn't have gone for 2. It's also a bad team. They're losing. And the game was pretty.
But that's when you go with probabilities. You should be always trying to hedge your bets in football. I don't think Belichick goes for the win. He does what it takes not to lose. No penalties. That's what it does. That's what I feel like he does. He's not going extra crazy shit. It just
Belichick missed the 2-point conversion to lose the game also, I believe.
Oh, did he? What?
I think so.
Against Denver?
Oh.
I didn't catch that.
But did they have to do it? That's a different one. They had to do it to win though, right?
I'm not sure.
I think, because Belichick usually will kick the extra point and go to overtime. He's usually, he trusts his team, I think, in overtime more often than not. I don't see him doing that with the Washington team with Ron Rivera. It felt almost like he was, having mercy on the fans. Like it was a boring to watch, and he was just like, "Let's just end it now, one way or the other." Let's get out of here. Nobody wants to watch this play. It's Washington and the Giants. Let's get it over with.
I think the way that they think about it is like if we go to overtime, it's really dependent on the coin toss, like who's going to get the ball first. So you kind of like lose. It's no longer in your hands. So I know a guy like Riverboat Ron is like, okay, we have it in our hands. It's on us now. So let's do it. If we win or we lose, it's dependent on how we perform, not some coin toss or something like that.
I hate when people say it's not dependent on how we do. Your defense is a part of we too. How about you put some faith in them?
And especially,
but it's the Washington football team.
who they
Their
actually
defense isn't bad this
their
season.
defense is better than their offense. If they won the coin toss, he probably would think about deferring. He's more likely to get a pick six with Danny Dimes throwing it than to have Kyle Allen go down and score. That's something I can't wait to see the day that happens. You're like, you win the coin toss in overtime. You're like, we're going to be on defense first.
Right? That's so disrespectful to a quarterback. No, we got it.
What teams would do that? Man, Washington, they're actually maybe the team that could do that. They're on their second quarterback or third string quarterback. I don't know. The Jets might do that too. I could see them. They will defer in overtime.
Haskins got dropped to the third string, I believe.
Yeah, he did. He sucks. Oh, man. We were talking about that on the last podcast, how I picked him as the worst QB, and then he got benched before the game. That's
Yeah, but I think that's contract shit, not like play shit. I don't think.
No,
I think
supposedly he was. It was like locker room thing. Supposedly he's got a problem. They lost some game, and he was bragging about his stats in the locker room. He's not paying attention in team meetings anymore.
So I heard it was preparation was a big part of the issue. But Ron Rivera also came out and said he's not giving up on him. He's young too, man. He just, he might need to mature a little bit and ride that bench and get his head right. He's like 20. He's 21 maybe? Like
something like that.
22 yet. I think he might have been drafted when he was 20. So it sounds like maturity issues. But allegedly he prepared really hard to win the starting job, and then once he had it, he just been on.
Yes, that's exactly what I heard.
So we'll see what happens with him. But he did seems like a talented guy. Seems like he can throw the ball, so they're not playing.
A lot of guys just end up in the wrong systems, man. He could do probably very well on the bench somewhere, and then come in a couple years. It's just really the luck of the draw.
Yeah, Ron Rivera has done well with quarterbacks. He did really well with Cam when he was in his prime, so it might be a good situation for him, but to ride the bench, like you said, for a little while. Speaking of Cam. You guys were both riding high on Cam preseason. I was not convinced that he was going to be we have the tape to prove this, by the way. I was not convinced that he was going to be great in that offense. Not because I doubted Cam's ability, but because I doubted that offense and their players at this stage right now. And it sure looked that way. That's kind of what showed up on film against those Broncos. What did you guys think about that game?
I actually didn't see much of the game. The one thing I did see is that Cam Newton dove on a fumble, which is huge progression for Cam Newton.
Right. He's trying hard.
But, it's the Patriots are always a kind of like up and down team. They have, they'll be one of the best teams in the NFL. And then they'll lose to the Chiefs, or they'll lose to the Broncos, or, and then they'll lose 3 games in a row. So I don't know. I think I'm not like sold on the Cam Newton experience for this year. Experiment.
First of all, I want to go back and find out exactly when the last time the Patriots lost 3 games in a row was, because I don't think that's happened.
Not 3 games in a row, but what I mean is like the Patriots will be like, they'll come in and they'll be really dope. Like they'll be, everyone's saying, oh, the Patriots are going to go to the Super Bowl this year. And then they'll drop one to the Raiders, or they'll lose to a team that's not as good as them. You know what I mean?
Historically, they have lost the occasional head scratcher early in the season.
Yes.
And that's always been about Belichick usually trying to find the right pieces that fit in the right places, get guys up to speed. It's almost like
that's what he's doing now. I'm sure he's doing a lot of these games like preseason. The AFC East is still like, I still think they have a chance of winning.
I'd say they have a chance, but the Bills look tough.
Bills are so good.
They look really good. I don't think they have much of a chance to overtake the Bills, honestly. I just see that team struggling. I think we're going to struggle, and I don't blame Cam, but his limitations as a thrower and their limitations with their receiving core are a bad combination right now. And I think teams are going to start loading the box against them and being like, let's see what you guys can do on the outside against us. And I don't know that they can do enough. And their defense is not what it was. It won't be again, I think, until next year at least. So that was interesting. And then let's stay with the AFC East for a minute. Did you guys see Tua's first action? Did you get excited? Did you guys get all giddy about Tua getting in the game? No,
I mean, it's nice to see him.
It's cool. Yeah.
They literally cheered in the stands. I think
Oh yeah.
Fitzpatrick was even like leading the
Yeah.
rah-rahs for when he got in.
How often does Miami have a shutout? Like they were treating like the Super Bowl.
I know.
Right.
Yeah, it's 2 games in a row for Miami too. Like they're getting excited about all kinds of stuff. But
you called it. Fitzpatrick goes on runs. He's Fit Magic right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's working out well for us.
yeah, he's in Fitz magic mode. You got to watch out. I don't know who they play next, but it's going to be interesting to see how long he can keep it going for. Nobody thinks he's going to keep it going forever, but he's also 37, man. He's still playing really, really good, really exciting football, which he's always been exciting to watch. I remember one
37.
He's 37. I know. He
college
plays
did he go
like
to?
25-year-old. Harvard.
Oh, okay. That's why too.
Only Harvard guys in the league. He's a fascinating player. I read an article about him today. He just the arc of his career has been just amazing to watch. It's really interesting to read up on him.
You watch that biopic?
I didn't watch the biopic.
It's magic.
Yeah,
He got a perfect score on the Wonderlic. I think he's the only guy that ever did that.
Wait, really? Shit.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah, he's literally a genius. But like
can't figure out how to make the Dolphins win. That's sad. That's how bad the Dolphins. They're my team too. That's how bad we suck.
Well, he's a genius, but he's not the biggest quarterback. He's not the fastest quarterback. He's just a fun. I remember hearing a guy an announcer one time talking about an old quarterback, and they're like, yeah, you know what? He kept both teams in the game. That's his whole career in a nutshell, right there. Like he threw 3 touchdowns, he threw 2 picks. Now it wasn't the Jets, so he didn't keep them in the game. But like he's had a lot of games that were like that. We're like, man,
That's the definition of Brett Favre, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, on a smaller scale, Brett Favre-esque.
It's a shame that Fitzpatrick has never been on a really great team. I wonder how he would be on a really good team. He's just kind of been like this journeyman that's kind of been everywhere except.
That's a fill.
You know what I mean?
Usually.
Well, that's what the article was about. It was about how he's not a backup, but he's never been the guy. He's a placeholder. He's the guy who you never really expect to be the starter, but he always comes out as the starter in almost every QB competition until they're ready to turn the team over to their, heir apparent. And then he moves on to the next placeholding situation.
Yeah, it's him and Nick Foles, bro. Like, who gets disrespected more?
Well, yeah, but Nick Foles had some really bad years when he was early on.
But so is Fitzmagic. He's had some bad years.
But Nick Foles also had like a record-breaking rookie season or second year. He was 37-3 with touchdowns and interceptions. He threw 7 touchdowns against the Raiders. Yep. And then they moved on from him the next year. I was like, dude, these guys are so obnoxious. Because
they get the quarterback that they want, their dream QB. They get him. They're like,
They traded him for Sam Bradford. I don't know if you guys remember that. The Eagles. Yeah, they traded him to the Rams.
Yeah. Waste. I remember that.
And then he got hurt, and he has also a very cool story as well, Nick Foles.
Yeah, he does. He's in a really good situation this year. The Bears won again, 5-1. I think the Bears are.
Yeah.
Dude, this could be Foles, he might stick there for a little while. It seems.
I hope so. I love Nick Foles. I really hope he finds his way and gets what he deserves.
It's going to be the same situation again. I think no one wants him as his darling or whatever. As soon as they get like a pretty QB, they're going to just drop Foles.
Well, the Jags, he was their guy. They signed him to a lot of money, and then he broke his collarbone. But, the Jags were really going to invest in him, and he was going to be the guy moving forward, but he got hurt.
Yeah, Minshew coming in was a fluke, and it just happened to be really good. So he played well again, too, against the Lions. He had a really nice game. So let's talk about the premier game from yesterday, though. Brady versus Rodgers.
Present.
I'm just going to say it. Rodgers looked shook in that game. He did.
He got hurt on that. His touchdown. He got his bell rung, and I think they should have pulled him out of the game, but they didn't.
Oh,
he probably got a concussion.
You think?
I do.
On that? Yeah.
He did not. I played football, so I've seen firsthand guys get their bell rung, and then that's it. Their game is over, but they still stay in the game. and they're never quite the same. And I think that happened to him on that play. He did the pump.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not in concussion protocol as of right now.
Right.
I think you maybe should call somebody though about that. I think he just lost his confidence. That was a bad read. The corner was sitting on him. It was a really bad read, and then he almost threw another one. Although the second one wasn't his fault, but not entirely his fault. But he almost threw like 3 more. Like I
feel like he was just trying to force it though. Like he was getting frustrated.
Yeah. That's exactly what it looked like. But going into that game, there were a lot of people were talking about how the Packers were the best team, maybe the best team in the league. And they just got worked over hard. And the Patriots didn't even play the Patriots.
Bucs. Look at you. That's just Brady's there.
The former Patriots didn't even play. The Bucs didn't even play. They weren't lights out on offense, but they ran the ball really well. And this is one of my many arguments for Brady. He's not afraid to check to a run if it's the right thing for his team. He's willing to he makes winning plays. He makes winning decisions. And some of the balls he threw yesterday were absolutely spectacular. Like some of the touch passes, some of the Gronk connections, all that stuff. They look like a really tough team to beat. When you manhandle the undefeated Packers, we're about a third of the way into the season, I guess. They're going to be scary going into the playoffs, I think, if they can keep it up.
Big game next week with the Raiders and the Buccaneers. I'm looking forward to that one.
Me too. That's going to be exciting. That's going to be fun.
I think that's Sunday night, right?
I think it's a primetime game. Yeah, that's definitely one I'm circling.
Finally, we get a good primetime game.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple. Is it technically primetime tonight? I don't know.
They were supposed to be good.
They
look good on paper.
Hopefully we get some good games tonight. They look pretty good. I didn't see a whole lot of key injuries. You talked about the Taylor Lewan. Fantasy wise, did anything jump out? I didn't see many injuries this week. I think more guys were coming back than that are coming back from injury.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks, a lot of people were hurt.
Yeah.
Finally, Michael Thomas is coming back next week.
Michael Thomas coming back. I think hopefully McCaffrey's coming back next week. I think it's he's iffy. Couple mid-level receivers. You talked about the Jets receivers. Brashad Perriman came back this week for the Jets. He made some plays. So yeah, who knows? That he might be a guy who's productive. John Brown is active tonight. He's a guy who's on. He's like that in that flex territory for a lot of fantasy teams. And if you were thinking about playing him, waiting to see what happens, he is active tonight. That's official. Any waiver pickups that you're looking at this week? Any guys that jumped off the screen at you that you weren't expecting? How about Fulgham, the guy from the Eagles? Did we talk about him? He just keeps making plays, making touchdowns. I know it's hard to think about wanting somebody from the Eagles, but
they're a good team. What do you?
I don't know. They did make it.
They don't win, but they get yards.
Yeah. They have been playing okay. They could have won that game against the Ravens, honestly. Like they had some misses, some bad misses that I felt like, may have left that game on the table. Anybody else waiver wire pickups? And you guys don't have to tell me who you're picking up this week. I know.
Well, I got the guy from Pittsburgh last week. I'm spacing his name right now. What's his name? Chase
Claypool.
Oh, Claypool.
Yeah. Mapletron. Yeah. They're calling him Mapletron because he's from Canada.
Yeah.
I love it.
Canadian.
I put maple syrup in my coffee. I put it on everything. I'm like Vince Vaughn from Wedding Crashers. I literally carry a jar of maple syrup around with me if I'm traveling. I grew up in Vermont though. Same thing. It's Canada. So let's see. Let's talk about worst QBs last week. Should we talk about that? Vital.
I got pretty.
What was his 1.34 for
it was pretty perfect. I love seeing that number. It looked amazing. And they won too. That was a whole
and they won, which means he's probably not going to get benched this week. I was looking at that because I was looking at who can we trust to pick? Who's actually going to play? Now that I've been through the experience of having my pick get benched before the game. Now I'm a little shell shocked about that. And I'm also losing to you guys.
Who did you pick, Nick?
I got 1 point because I got second place. Who did I pick in that one? Hang on, let me see. I picked Daniel Jones.
Okay.
And
well, who did Vital pick?
Vital picked
Oh,
Drew
wow.
Lock. Drew Lock got like a 1.34, scored a 1.34 in our fantasy league, which is almost a perfect score. Lonnie, you picked Joe Burrow. He was pretty, right?
I think he got about 13 points, something like that. He was going up against Indy.
Yeah, he got like 16, I think, or 17. He scored a little. You got last place in that one. He scored a little bit more than Daniel Jones. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but so because you lost, quick update. We haven't all three been on here in a while. Let me give you guys the totals for our season competition. Let me see. Where are we?
I just cannot figure out DraftKings. I cannot get it.
No, you beat me in I got last place in DraftKings, didn't I? You got second, I think.
But I want to win. I don't want second place. I want to win.
Well, tonight we're doing
what's it called? The accountant statuses and the money does make it hard, man, because you're switching out players you actually want. Sometimes I just take L's. I get 2 kickers. I was like, I don't know.
It's tricky. It's like, do you go all middle guys? Do you go high? It is. Have you played it all on like a full Sunday? Have you done any of those? Have you been doing that? I usually do like the $3 one. I think $100,000 goes to first place, but it's like a $3 buy-in. And like, you know, like if you're in the top quarter of the finals, you get money back. Anyway, it's really fun to pick when you have all the games on Sunday to choose from. But it gets tough, and I haven't done well on any of those either. But it gets tough when you only have 1 or 2 games to pick. And it's interesting, we haven't had any of the same lineups. You thought that was going to be a thing, right? I think, Lonnie, and it hasn't happened once. When we're picking one single game, we haven't ever had the same exact lineup. And not even close, really.
That makes sense, man.
There's just a lot of different
ways. You have to go for boom or bust because of that. I like that they did that. They don't give you enough money to like really hedge your bets in all positions. So some positions you have to go boom or bust.
Yeah,
right.
It's just like, that's nice.
You're like, all right, I hope this guy that I've never heard of scores a touchdown tonight.
All money on the kicker. Butker's doing well tonight. All right, so here's where we're at with the season totals. Vital's in the lead with 13 points. You are in second place with 11 points, and I'm bringing up the rear with 9 points.
Okay.
So still only 4 points back, which is not that bad. And don't forget the Super Bowl picks also. Let's just remind you, because the Super Bowl picks, the Cowboys are not looking good to make the Super Bowl. The Ravens, who you and I both picked to make the Super Bowl, are starting to look better. They're actually looking respectable. That defense could carry them through. Chiefs, of course, are looking good, but they just got smoked by the Raiders, Vital. And then Vital and I also both have the Bucs, who are trending in the right direction definitely after that win.
I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, I think, right?
You picked the Cowboys over the Ravens.
Right, because I'm a fucking retard.
It was crazy when they had Prescott. It's insane now.
I had to. I just had to do it because I'm an idiot who thinks emotionally, and
it's so you're at a major disadvantage there. But anyway, so 13 to 11 and 9. Lonnie, you get first pick on. Of course, did you guys fill in your DraftKings already? Game starts in like 14 minutes.
Yeah, I did.
You both did. All right, so DraftKings should be set. Let me just double check, make sure mine's in there. I think I figured out how to auto resize it. So Lonnie, because you got last place in quarterback pick'em last week, you get first place. I'd rather have Kaepernick than. Who are you going with? Did you look at him? You want to take a minute to look at him?
Yeah, do you mind? I'm on my phone here, so can you, or I can do it. I just want to read the.
There were. Did Ryan play with us too? I think Ryan joined up. Nice. So Ryan's playing it. Nice. Ryan smoked all 3 of us last week.
I saw. I didn't like that. Don't invite him again.
No, he's in the league now, man. It's too late. Like he's
in there. Yo. He's making us look bad.
I know he's gonna. Yeah. So now we have extra motivation. We actually have to try to beat Ryan in addition to beating each other.
It's good. It's a preview edition to what he's going to be like in the league next year.
He's right. I think he's a formidable. Well, he said he's doing terrible in fantasy, but I think that's a victim of circumstance.
But he's got the knowledge. It's like so am I.
Yeah, no, he knows
like
shit.
I'm bad at fantasy. It's just like whatever.
You guys saw Baker Mayfield got benched?
Yeah.
Ooh, really?
I mean, they were down by 37 or something at the time.
Yeah, but they stuck behind him between much worse games than that.
The game was over though. I think it was more about protecting him going forward because they're even losing. They're a 4-2 team. Baker's their guy. I wouldn't worry about that.
I am picking Joe Flacco, and it's not even close. They're playing Buffalo.
Damn, that was going to be my pick.
So here is something that I'm going to tell you this. Even though I already talked about it, I'm just going to give you the rundown. Joe Flacco, Sam Darnold is not definitely out for the next game. They don't know. He might be back from his shoulder injury. If you pick Flacco, you run the risk of having him not start the game and losing all your points. So still going Flacco? I mean, I would pick either Jets quarterback if I knew who was playing, but I still don't know for sure. I looked into it, believe me, because I thought about that too. Flacco looked god awful
against a dog, and they're playing Buffalo this week. Man.
I know.
Like honestly,
any Jets quarterback this week is going to be awful. I just don't, man. If I needed the win, like if I absolutely was desperate for points, it was later in the season, I would just pick a Jets quarterback and hope that they play.
I know, man. Lonnie, I think that's a bet to go. If you don't, I'm going to. So whatever.
You're going to pick a Jets?
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. I'm going to stick with Joe Flacco.
Ooh, man. That is all right. Taking the risk with Flacco. I like it. Mostly just because that means I get my first pick. My first pick would have been a Jets quarterback, but I'm not going to take that kind of chance. I get second pick because I got second last week. I'm going Drew Lock. I think he's going to be bad again. I don't know I forget who they're playing, but I'm taking him again. Or I'm taking him from you, Vital. So that leaves you with a couple different. Did you look at your options, Vital? You know who you are?
I looked at a couple, but now
we took them from you.
I'm just thinking about it.
You could take the other Jets quarterback. You could take Darnold.
Right. Donald just hedges the bet. Who's starting for Washington? It's not Haskins. Who is it?
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen. He's another guy, though. Like they say he's a starter, but would I be surprised if Alex Smith gets thrown in there? No.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like, oh, should I change it? They're playing Dallas next week, so.
And they are playing Dallas.
But that means he's probably going to score 40.
Yeah, he's probably going to throw 2 picks and 5 touchdowns. Joe Burrow is playing the – oh, wait, no, that was this week. Hang on. Let me see. Let's see. Week 7.
Who's Philly's QB?
Philly's QB is Carson Wentz. And they're playing the Giants. Daniel Jones is playing the Eagles.
You know what? Yeah, let me go with Daniel Jones. I'm sure he'll get a couple.
I was going to say the other one is Joe Burrow is playing against the Browns next week.
You know what? I might just take the L and kind of hedge my bets on this, and I'm going to go with Sam Darnold. Just in case he does it.
For real?
Oh!
I love this play because I'm guaranteed to score at least one.
This is Vital's 4-point lead hubris.
Yeah, I love it.
You get to play. I play with a little bit of house money, you know.
Right.
Gotta make some.
Okay. Trying to extend the lead. All right. So whichever one of those guys qualifies. One of you guys is going to be disqualified from the game from this competition this week, which is great. All right, so we've got Drew Lock for the Broncos, and both Jets quarterbacks is who we would rather have Kaepernick over. I like it. Good picks, guys. All right, so let's see what else we got. Is there anything else we got to cover? Game's about to start. You guys want to talk any more football stuff? Last points before we get going?
You want to do picks for the game tonight?
Yeah, let's do picks for the game tonight. I like that. First game, Chiefs-Bills. What you got?
Oof. I'm going to say that the Chiefs are going to come back. They'll beat the Bills. Let's say 31-28 Chiefs.
Okay. Vital, who you got? Chiefs, Bills.
I think it's going to be a little more consistent that the Chiefs are steady winning, closer to like a high 28s for them and then the teens for the Bills. I think he's lost his confidence. What's his name? He had a bad game last week.
Kyle Allen. Josh Allen.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be able to Monday night against the defending champs. Come on.
I don't know. The opposite could be true too. You know, like it's like big lights.
Yeah, coming off
I don't think he's played
too.
a primetime game yet. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm going with the Chiefs bounce back game. Also, I think they're going to come back strong against the Bills, but I do think it's going to be closer. I'm with Lonnie on this one. I think the Chiefs. Yeah, maybe like a 6 or 7 points game, like like maybe a 34-28, something like that. I like the Chiefs, but I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring game. All right, let's make it interesting now with the late game. Cardinals, Cowboys. Whoo, this is a tough one. Lonnie, I'll let you go first.
Let's see. The Red Rifle is going to be starting tonight. They're going to be looking to kind of like, they I know they want to win so they can make some noise in the division. I believe they're actually number 1 in the division, even at 2-3.
Yeah, I think they are.
So I don't know though. Kyler Murray, the defense is awful for the Cowboys. I'm gonna pick the Cardinals. Let's say 28-24 Cardinals.
Vital, what do you think?
Same actually. I think it's going to be about exactly that. 2 touchdowns, control.
Yeah.
You think that the Cardinals are going to win 28-14?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think the Cardinals are going to run. I think Kyler Murray is going to run wild over the Cowboys defense. I think him and Hopkins are both going to have huge games. I think Dalton is going to struggle a little bit. I think they're going to try to put the ball in his hands and take away Zeke and see what he can do. I think they're going to try to bait him into some bad decisions.
Andy Dalton can throw the ball. When he played in Cincinnati, he could throw. And he had big receivers.
I know, but it's been a while. He hasn't played consistently in a while, and I think he'll be okay this year. But I think today they're going to try to get after him. They're going to make him try to hold it, and it's going to be. I think the Cardinals win by a little bit more. I think it's going to be like a 31-14 game. Honestly, yeah. I think the Cowboys struggle a little bit more than they have been. Just tonight, I think the Cowboys will be okay with Andy Dalton. I think they probably still win the division. But I think tonight he might struggle a little bit just first.
So maybe they get a shot in the arm for Dak. Maybe the Dak injury brings them all together, and let's see. It's going to be an interesting game.
I know that always happens, but I think it already did happen in the second half of that game. I think they already
they rallied really well.
They had that juice and they ran with it to the win against the Giants. They had to come back in that game, and now I think they're going to settle into. All right, can Dalton really win it for us start to finish? And it'll be interesting to see. All right, before we get going, let's talk about upcoming comedy shows. Thursday night, October 22nd, Blue Jean Blues in Fort Lauderdale. All 3 of us are on that show. I can't wait to see you guys there. It's going to be a killer show. We have a great lineup. And so,
have you done a show there before, Nick?
No, this is our first show. This is the first show.
I love first shows.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about it. We've had a number of people already confirm on Eventbrite tickets and friends who are coming. So yeah, I think this could be a really good monthly. They've already given me a second show though. We're gonna do every 3rd Thursday going forward. It looks like
cool.
So yeah, I'm excited about making it a great first show and excited to see you guys there and have a good time.
I just did my first show back on Saturday, so I got my first bomb out of the way. So I'll be ready to get back on stage.
I'm sure it was I'm sure it was great.
Oh, it was pretty bad.
You need the first bomb. I did too. You need to get the first one out of the way.
Oh yeah.
That's what I go. I went to Shipwreckers last night. That's why I go there, just to get that.
Get those like. I went to Shipwreckers once, so this was the second time I've been on stage in 7 months.
Okay.
It was Saturday, so.
I love Shipwreckers, actually. I go there all the time, so they.
I love it too.
It's fun.
Talk about low pressure.
Yeah. Any other?
To sleep on Kava.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else going on this week besides the Thursday night show? You got anything else coming up?
I'm gonna go to Caroline's tomorrow.
Cool. Nice. All right. Sounds good. I'm gonna go. I actually have another show Saturday, October 24th. This coming Saturday, performing at Boca Black Box.
Nice.
Yeah,
like the Black Box.
I think it's the Box 2.0. It's next to the Black Box Theater, and we got headliner KC Peruski coming down for that show.
Cool.
He's nice.
Yeah. So,
I've never done Black Box. Have you, Vital?
No, I've been there, but I haven't done the show.
It's
a nice room.
That's one I want to do. I really want to get on stage at Black Box.
There are a lot of people, man. I love big rooms that fill up, dude. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, like I said though, it's the Box 2.0. I don't know if it's
I'm sure they still have the same contacts, the mailing list, Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do well there, people will see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about that one. That should be a fun show. And then, probably the next couple nights. I think I'm going to hit tomorrow night. I'm going to hit Kelly Brothers. It's like Sean's doing his like showcase, all night long showcases, like organized open mic showcase. So Kelly Brothers is on Tuesday, Wednesday is CNI, and then we got the show on Thursday. So looking forward to it. All right. Well,
all right, fellas.
Thanks again for everybody listening, watching. Thank you again for watching and listening. We've had actually more and more viewers and listeners every week. So watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast. More people are listening on Overcast than everything except for Apple. Spotify, Pocket Casts, and a bunch of others. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week. All right.
See you guys on Thursday.
Good night.
All
Okay.
right, see you guys.
See you guys.
Take it easy.